Wow! Building on time? I've been wanting to try to build something for Speed for a long time. Let's learn how to build a circus.
Round 1.
I build my circus tent with white wool and red wool because a circus should be easy to notice from very far away, and red with white is one of the clearest color pairs for that. I start with the wools first because the wool shape tells people this is a tent and not a normal house. Wool is a good block for this because it looks softer than concrete and fits cloth better. Inside, I do not want grass on the ground because a show area should look cleaner and flatter, so I replace the dirt with smooth sandstone. Smooth sandstone is light, neat, and it makes the inside feel brighter. After that, I go up and build the roof from the same red and white wool, shaping it like a pyramid. A pointed roof is smart for a tent because it makes the middle look taller and helps rain seem like it can slide down the sides. On the very top, I add a flag with wooden fences and red concrete. The fence works like a pole, and the red top makes the circus look more fun and more visible to visitors. Phew, I barely made it on time. Great, my circus is ready.
What? Hello?
Hey, Banana Kid, look, I built it in just 1 minute. Do you like?
Yay!
Really? I am very glad that you like my makeshift construction. Maybe then you can try to build a circus yourself in just 10 minutes?
Ta-da!
They ran to the place. This is where your building will be. Are you ready?
Yay!
Then go ahead.
Round 2.
I can see Banana Kid starting his circus from the front entrance, and he uses yellow concrete right away. That is a pretty smart first move, because a circus entrance should catch the eye fast, and yellow does that really well. Yellow feels cheerful, bright, and welcoming, so it tells people this is a place for shows and fun, not a boring storage tent. I think starting with the entrance also helps him control the rest of the build, because once the front is clear, the walls can grow from it in a more organized way. He is not speaking, but I can guess he wants the front to feel like the most important part. In design, that makes sense. People always look at the entrance first, so the strongest color should often live there. The yellow concrete also stands apart from the red and white that come later, so the front can have its own identity while still matching the playful circus style. Now Banana Kid moves on to the main walls of the circus and starts using red concrete and white concrete in alternating stripes. This is one of the most classic circus ideas, and it works because stripes make a tent easy to recognize even from a long distance. Red and white also create very strong contrast, which is important on a large build. If two colors are too similar, the pattern disappears. These colors are different enough that each stripe stays clear. I like that he uses concrete instead of wool here, because concrete gives a cleaner and sharper surface. That makes the striped pattern easier to read. He keeps repeating the two colors in order, and repetition is useful in building because it creates rhythm. Banana Kid has only 7 minutes left. He needs to hurry up. The eye moves from one stripe to the next and understands the wall shape faster. circus tent is not only about having a roof. It also needs to feel festive, and these repeating red and white bands do a lot of work to create that mood. After getting the wall pattern going, Banana Kid goes inside and changes the floor from dirt to smooth sandstone. That is a very good decision for a circus. Dirt inside a performance tent would feel messy, uneven, and hard to walk on. Smooth sandstone gives a clean, flat floor that looks better for crowds, performers, and decorations. Its pale color also reflects more light than dirt, so the whole inside becomes brighter. Bright floors are useful in enclosed spaces because they stop the room from feeling heavy or dark. Half the time, is he sure he'll make it? Another nice thing about smooth sandstone is that it keeps the circus from becoming too red and white everywhere. The floor adds a calm, neutral base under all those strong wall colors. That is a good design balance. Bright walls bring excitement, and a simpler floor gives the eyes a place to rest. I think Banana Kid is doing this in a smart order too. First the shell, then the floor, then the roof. That is usually easier than trying to decorate a room before the main surfaces are finished. Next, Banana Kid starts the upper part of the tent. He first makes the top section more rectangular, and that gives the circus a sturdy middle mass before the highest points rise. This is actually a useful shape choice. If he tried to jump straight from the walls into a tiny point, the roof could look too thin and weak. A broader upper section makes the whole tent feel more grounded. After that, he raises parts on the left and right sides, so the roof starts getting a more dramatic shape. These upward sections are important because circus tents usually need a strong skyline. A flat top would not feel exciting enough. Taller raised parts make the building look special and also suggest that the middle of the tent has extra height for acts, ropes, or decorations. In real tents, high roof areas can help create more room for performers and equipment. Even in Minecraft, that same idea makes the build feel more useful and more believable as a show tent. Banana Kid keeps working on those raised roof parts and turns them into the highest points of the circus. I like that he puts them on both sides instead of only one, because symmetry helps a tent feel balanced. A circus is often a very organized shape, even when it looks playful, so matching high points left and right makes sense. The roof shape now has more energy than a simple box or pyramid. It makes the whole silhouette look more fun from far away, and silhouette matters a lot on themed buildings. To go. Banana Kid, hurry up! If the outside shape is strong, people know what the building is before they even walk close. The raised sections also help break the long horizontal line of the walls. Without them, the tent could feel too flat. Banana Kid is quietly showing a good rule here. Big, simple structures need 1 or 2 special shape changes to stay interesting. The raised roof parts do exactly that and give the circus a proper top profile instead of just a lid. On top of those raised parts, Banana Kid builds flags using stone walls and yellow concrete. Stone walls are a nice choice for the poles because they are thin, vertical, and strong-looking, so they hold the flags without becoming bulky. Then, the yellow concrete on top keeps the flags bright and visible. Flags are very important for a circus because they signal celebration and movement, even when the blocks do not actually wave. A building with flags instantly feels more alive. These flags also help the highest points of the tent stand out more. If the roof peaks had no details, they could look unfinished. With flags on top, the peaks become the stars of the skyline. Yellow is also a good flag color because it connects back to the yellow entrance and helps the whole design feel tied together. That is a nice little lesson in color use. Repeating one accent color in more than one place helps different parts of a build feel like they belong to the same story. For the final outside detail, Banana Kid places iron bars in front of the circus and at the back. I think this is useful because a circus often needs some kind of crowd control or boundary line. Iron bars are thin, so they can mark edges without blocking the whole view of the tent. Thin barriers are usually better than full walls in places where you still want people to see the building clearly. The bars also add a slightly more organized fairground feeling, like there are lines, waiting zones, or restricted areas near the tent. I like that he saves this detail for the end, because barriers make more sense after the main shape is finished. Now the build has a bright entrance, striped walls, a clean floor, a dramatic roof, flags, and little outside borders. Banana Kid does not say a word, but the whole thing reads very clearly as a circus. It feels festive, easy to notice, and much more polished than just a red and white box with a roof. There are only a few minutes left. Banana seems to be finishing up already.
Ta-da! Yay!
Where did everyone run off to? Hey guys, what's all that noise?
Banana Kid and I are building circus on time, JJ. Who did it better?
Oh, both of your buildings look great, but I think it's up to the audience to decide who did the best.
Yes, JJ, you're right. Maybe then you have comments on the construction of Banana Kid?
Yes, there are a couple of comments. There's so little room in your circus. No elephant can fit in here.
I totally agree with you, JJ. Maybe then you can build your circus in 15 minutes?
Okay, then let's run to the place.
JJ, good luck to you. We'll wait in the house.
That?
Thanks, guys. Then I'm starting. Round 3. I begin my circus with the entrance, because the entrance is where the whole mood of the building starts. I use dark oak stairs for this part. Dark oak is a very good trim material because it is darker than the red and white wool that will come later, so it frames the front nicely and makes the opening easier to read. Stairs are also useful because they create angled edges and soft shapes instead of hard square blocks. A circus should feel inviting and a little theatrical, and shape trim helps with that. I build the entrance so it feels like a proper front opening, not just a hole in a striped wall. In architecture, the first impression matters a lot. A guest should know immediately where to walk and feel that the entrance is special. The dark wood trim does that job well. It also gives the tent a small, grounded detail at the front, so the circus does not look like it is only fabric from top to bottom. After the entrance is established, I begin the main walls of the tent using red wool and white wool. I choose wool instead of concrete because a circus tent should feel like stretched cloth, and wool gives a softer texture that suits fabric better. I also make the tent large and rounded. A rounded shape is important because tents usually do not read well as plain cubes. Their sides often curve slightly upward toward the roof, and this softer outline makes the circus feel more believable. I alternate red and white sections to keep the classic circus look. Those two colors are perfect here because they are cheerful, easy to recognize, and very strong in contrast. Contrast helps a giant tent stay visible from a distance. As I shape the walls, I make sure the footprint is broad enough for a real performance space inside. A circus should feel like a place where many people can gather, not just a tiny booth with stripes. I keep extending the striped shell and make the circular feeling clearer. Building something rounded in Minecraft takes planning because blocks always want to form squares. To solve that, I step the walls gradually and avoid harsh sudden corners. This gives the tent a smoother outline, even though it is still made of cubes. The rounded plan matters a lot in a circus because a central show ring works best when the audience sits around it in a broad, open space. If the tent were rectangular, the inside would feel more like a hall than a circus. I also keep the wool pattern organized so the stripes remain readable as the shape curves. That takes some care. On large themed buildings, pattern and form must work together. If the wall shape is good, but the stripes become chaotic, the whole tent feels messy. By controlling both the curve and the color order, I make the shell feel playful and structured at the same time. I still have a lot of time left. I definitely have to do everything in time. Once the walls are high enough, I go inside and replace the dirt floor with smooth sandstone. This is one of the most useful interior upgrades in the build. Smooth sandstone gives the circus a clean, bright ground surface that contrasts well with the strong red and white walls. Dirt would make the interior feel temporary and rough, while smooth sandstone feels prepared for crowds and performances. Its pale color is also excellent for reflecting light, which makes the inside seem larger and more open. A circus interior needs that brightness because many people will look toward the center ring, and a darker floor could make the whole space feel dull. Another good thing about smooth sandstone is that it matches the sandy, fairground feeling very well. It feels warmer than quartz and less industrial than concrete. This floor helps transform the tent from a giant striped shell into a proper event space where seats, performers, and decorations can all make sense. Now I begin the roof, and this is where the build gets much more complex. My roof has 3 parts, not one. I start with the left and right sections first. Building the side roof pieces early helps me understand the slope and the height before I commit to the huge center piece. This is a useful planning method on large builds. Smaller roof sections can act like tests for angle and proportion. I use the same red and white wool so the roof stays fully connected to the wall pattern below. The side roof parts rise upward and inward, helping the whole tent feel like fabric pulled toward a higher center. A circus roof should not be flat because the top of a tent needs a clear focus point. Sloping roof sections make the structure feel taller and more dramatic, and they also suggest how a real tent might pull weight towards stronger center supports. Even in Minecraft, that kind of visual physics helps the whole design feel more convincing. I continue shaping the left and right roof sections carefully. The hardest part here is keeping both sides equal. A circus tent depends a lot on balance, and if the 2 side roof pieces do not match, the whole top can feel twisted. I keep checking the slopes and edges so the silhouette stays symmetrical. This symmetry is important not only for beauty, but also for readability. The viewer should understand the tent shape quickly, and matching sides help the brain process it as one deliberate structure. I also avoid making the side roofs too tall, because the center roof still needs to become the strongest part later. In design, not every feature should fight for first place. The left and right roof sections should support the center, not compete with it. By keeping them strong, but slightly calmer, I prepare the circus for a taller middle section that will become the real star of the entire top. After the side roof sections are stable, I begin the giant central roof. This part takes the most time because it is the biggest and most important section of the whole circus. A circus roof usually wants a strong middle, and here, the center must rise above both side parts clearly. I've got half the time left. I'm kind of in time. That vertical hierarchy tells the viewer where the heart of the tent is. The center also needs to feel broad enough to cover the main show area inside, so I do not make it too skinny. Instead, I build a large raised central mass from the same red and white wool, continuing the striped rhythm upward. This is where scale becomes very important. A central roof peak that is too small would make the whole tent feel weak. A central roof peak that is too large would crush the side sections. I spend a lot of time adjusting the dimensions because this part decides whether the entire circus looks elegant or clumsy. I keep working on the central roof and gradually shape it into the dominant top feature of the tent. Since this part takes more than half the building time, I pay close attention to how every layer steps inward. The more carefully the blocks step, the smoother and more intentional the roof feels. A strong central peak also helps the circus feel more exciting. Big top tents are supposed to rise proudly above the ground, almost like they are announcing that something amazing is happening inside. The roof must carry that excitement. I also keep the stripe pattern clean while the shape narrows. That is not easy because patterns can become messy when a roof starts tapering, but a circus depends on those bold, clear stripes. If the top becomes too chaotic, the classic tent identity gets lost. So I keep the geometry and the color rhythm working together until the central roof finally feels tall, proud, and worthy of the rest of the tent. When the central roof is finished, I place flags on all 3 roof sections using fences and yellow wool. Fences make excellent flagpoles because they are thin, upright, and visually light. Yellow wool is a strong flag color because it stands out clearly against the red and white roof below. Flags are a very important circus detail. They make the building feel festive and alive, and they emphasize the height of the roof peaks. A roof can already look good by shape alone, but a flag gives the eye a final stopping point. It tells the viewer where the top truly ends. I place them carefully so each roof section gets its own signal without becoming overcrowded. This also helps connect the 3-part roof into one family of shapes. Even though the center is the tallest, the matching flags tell the viewer that all 3 peaks belong to the same circus tent. Small repeated details like this are very good at unifying large complex forms. Oh no, time flies so fast, I didn't even notice. I'm doing great! It is high time for furniture. I start by using smooth sandstone slabs to define an area near the middle of the circus. This central zone is important because every circus needs a performance ring. I fence off the area so the edge becomes clear and guests understand where the action happens. Fences are useful because they separate the ring without blocking the view too much. A circus should feel open, so a thin boundary is better than a solid wall. The smooth sandstone slabs inside the ring also help the show area stand apart from the rest of the floor. Changing floor texture is one of the easiest ways to define a special function in a large room. I keep this area close to the middle because audience spaces in a circus usually work best when they surround a clear center. By giving the circus a real ring, I turned the tent from a striped hall into an actual performance space with a proper focal point. Inside that fenced-off ring, I remove more of the dirt that remains below and replace it with sandstone slabs. Then, I add sandstone stairs to make a smooth, even slope. This is a very useful detail because a circus ring often sits slightly lower or shaped differently from the audience area, and an even slope makes the transition look more intentional. Stairs are much better than sudden block jumps because they make the shape feel smoother and easier to walk across. The sloped ring also creates a little stage-like quality. A small change in level can help focus attention and make performers feel more central. Last minute, I have to hurry. Around the walls, I place red armchairs for the guests. Red is the perfect seat color here because it matches the classic circus palette and feels bold and theatrical. Placing the chairs at the edges keeps the middle open and lets viewers imagine an audience looking inward. This is how the whole interior starts to behave like a real circus. To finish the inside, I decorate the corners with anvils and leaves. This might sound unusual in a circus, but it works nicely because the dark anvils give the corners visual weight and the leaves soften the room. Large interiors often need corner details. Otherwise, the edges can feel empty and forgotten. These decorations also help the tent feel more welcoming instead of only functional. Now the circus has a strong entrance, a rounded striped shell, a bright floor, a 3-part roof with flags, a central performance ring, and seating for the guests. The outside feels festive and clear, and the inside has a real purpose. That is the most important thing for me in a themed build. A circus should not only look like a circus from the outside, it should also work like one when you step inside and imagine the show beginning. Great! My circus is ready! It's time for me to show it to the guys!
Wow, JJ, you've got such a big and beautiful circus. I think there's enough room for a giraffe. Haha!
Thank you guys! I am very glad that you liked my building. Friends, be sure to write in the comments whose building you liked the most. Well, I think it's time for us to finish.
Yes, JJ, you're right!
Subscribe and like. Bye-bye!